Yahoo Esports Live is brought to you by Reese's Puffs.
Welcome once again to Tilted. I'm Travis Gafford. On today's show, we are talking about patches, esports legends, in-house leagues, and the coolest tournament of all time, League of Legends World Championships. Tilted starts now. Well, it's time to kick off another action-packed episode of Tilted. But first, I'd like to introduce my co-hosts. I'll go to an old standby, Taylor Cocke. How's it going, Taylor?
An old standby, huh? I guess we have been in the industry for a long time, Travis, you and I. You longer than me, but we've been around.
The oldest of standbys.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm just going to keep harping on the standby thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around and standing by.
Yeah. Next, the hungriest man I know, always hungry for esports, Dylan Walker.
And a cheeseburger.
Dylan, are these skinny jeans?
These are not skinny jeans.
Okay.
The joke there is that there's a guy in the Twitch chat that's always like, eat a cheeseburger, man.
Yeah, he's there right now.
Yeah.
Probably saying it.
Yeah.
Finally, saving the best for last, our resident cyborg, Michael Martin. Where in the world are you today, Michael Martin?
I am lost somewhere within the Capcom Fighters network, but I did have a cheeseburger for breakfast this morning.
Okay, I understand you have a new shirt.
I do. Do you want to see it?
Yeah, I do. Let's see if we can do this on the screen. Oh, very good.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's beautiful. I love it.
That's fantastic. All right, well, if you are new here, Tilted is a show where we talk about things that irk us or just get us that very excited. Every week we have 4 hosts bring their own esports-focused topics to discuss with the group. And then at the end of the show, we are joined by Yahoo Esports Managing Editor Ben Silverman to test us on our esports knowledge in Solo IQ, my favorite part of the show because I always school you guys. Basically what happens is Ben calls us names, then awards points based on our answers. We keep score every week with this nifty MMR leaderboard. And by the way, I was out last week, and yet I am still #1 on the leaderboard.
You're number 4.
Is it even worth correcting him at this point?
It's just fantastic. I am so impressed with myself. Anyway, with all of that out of the way, I'm going to kick things off by saying League of Legends World Championships is the best tournament ever in esports.
Here we go.
I mean, people can talk about IPL 5 and all that stuff, but you have all these different world championships. You have all these different finals and TIs and all that stuff. But I think that World Championships is just the coolest. It is 5 weeks long, and it happens in a different region every year. It travels around, not just Seattle every year or LA or something like that.
Already throwing the international under the bus.
Yeah. I mean, I did that earlier even. But you basically get to go to all these different areas in each region. In the U.S., it's in the U.S. right now, and we're going to be seeing it happen in SF and Chicago, New York, LA. And it's just so cool. The format is fantastic. You have this big group stage. You always find out who's going to be the best in the world, and it all just culminates over this time. So you go on this journey. It's just clearly the best. Anybody have a problem with that?
I'm going to go with pretty much all of us. And I'm a League of Legends guy. I'm a League of Legends guy first and foremost.
A2 Taylor?
And you're actually crazy if you think this is the best tournament in the world. There are if you're looking for a bigger spectacle, you got the International, which is it's just the coolest looking tournament.
How is it the coolest looking?
You look at their stage. Their stage is amazing.
You've been, right? You went.
Oh, yeah.
You went.
You went.
Okay, yeah. You know where else I went? To the 2014 World Championships.
I was at that too. That was
in
pretty
Korea,
cool.
Giant World Cup Stadium.
They also closed with Imagine Dragons. Come on.
What? Yeah, Imagine Dragons is great.
I'm gonna
Linkin
drop
Park
some.
was at BlizzCon. Metallica.
All right. We're not
I
even
just
talking
came
about
back from a Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa concert at Call of Duty.
That is way better than Imagine Dragons.
You're not helping the case here, by the way.
So in terms of pure spectacle, you're looking for at the International, which is in terms of set design and trophy design and just design in general, it is the best looking tournament in esports. Period. If you want to talk about pure just grassroots awesomeness, it's Evo. There's not even a question.
Oh yeah, I love just walking into a stadium where all the house lights are on. And you've just got a stage where you've
hanging out.
Yeah,
and
they're just sitting in an IKEA chair with a CRT monitor on the stage.
It's super punk rock. It's super DIY. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah. Also DIY the tournament that I hold in my mom's garage on the weekend.
This is Evo, my dude. Like this is the DIY tournament. And I like I said, yeah, this is coming from a League of Legends guy. Like I firmly believe that League of Legends is like third or fourth.
Taylor's not convincing me. Do either one of you other guys have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, you've been to BlizzCon, right? Many years, right?
I've been to every single one except for the first one.
And you're going to tell me that BlizzCon doesn't have a place in the Hall of Best
BlizzCon
tournaments.
isn't even like an esports world championship.
There's
It
like
is a
4 world championships that go on in the same venue.
at a convention center where you're also watching like panels and artist stuff and all that stuff. You go there and you're not even watching it most of the time. By the way, one of those world championships, World of Warcraft, okay? It's something that is only vaguely an esport.
All right, well, you can't tell me. All right, I don't. This is my thing. Like, I appreciate the, when I see the League of Legends World Championship, I don't follow League that much, but I've seen like the Vice documentary, which I know people aren't very happy with.
Yeah.
And it shows, I think that's 2014.
Yes.
2013. That looks pretty cool. You know, they got the
Yeah.
drums and
Exactly,
Dragons
yes.
and all that
So you
stuff.
agree
but
with
the
me, that's
international. Hands down,
it's gotta be
best
international.
esports tournament
It's
I've
literally
ever been
in
to
Seattle.
in my life.
It's in Seattle.
We
every
sit
year.
at our
the
desk.
first part of the tournament doesn't even have an audience.
Yeah, if you're not press, which I was.
It doesn't matter. It's like an unaudience tournament.
Sure, but everyone watches it online. You can watch it in the game client. I just don't like League of Legends, the game. I don't find it interesting.
Well,
I couldn't go there and
I'm
be
a
like,
different
this
level.
is
We're-
awesome.
We're done with Dylan. Moving to Michael Martin because you
So-
just
The international
sold yourself out.
I loved
BlizzCon.
the international so much.
League of Legends.
I loved it so much that I brought my own Street Fighter V setup so I could play Street
exactly.
Fighter.
So Michael agrees. You guys and your stupid little TI argument is just failing.
I want to know if Michael
Evo.
likes Dota more than
I-
League.
I will go to my grave with Evo being the best tournament ever. There's just nothing like it.
Well, I would agree with that. There's
take
nothing
your set
like it.
best, like the sort of do-it-yourself kind of feel to it, the grassroots feel. There's never a dull moment. Something's always happening. Unlike these other games where you have 90-minute games and there's maybe 5 minutes worth of hype moments throughout these games. Evo Top 8 this year was fantastic. Great storylines, which, interestingly enough, if L.I. Joe hadn't made it into Top 8, it probably could have been the worst Top 8 in Street Fighter at Evo. But yeah, I mean, the fighting game tournaments are the best. And I don't know, League, Dota, all these tournaments just don't hold a candle
Michael,
to it.
you know what else is grassroots? The local baseball league that takes place in Los Angeles. But that doesn't mean that the World Series isn't the best
Shout out
baseball
to
tournament.
BlizzCon's cosplay contest, by the way. That's the best cosplay ever.
The costume contest.
Yeah.
That's what makes a world
I
championship.
liked it better when Mark was here last week. That's
Yeah.
all I want to say.
Because I have just schooled you guys completely. We've got TI.
You have not schooled
which doesn't
anybody
even have
here.
an audience.
This is like not I'm a tilted topic. This is like I want to tilt all of you topic.
Well, I mean, it is I mean, Travis is really, really good at tilting everybody else on stage.
Yeah, well, that's what happens whenever you've got 3 people that are arguing incorrectly and 1 person that's arguing about it right.
I mean,
so let's
okay. So I was
back to
at
the show,
20. I was at 2014 Worlds, right? It was 40,000 people. It was incredible. I still prefer the international 3.
Okay, so let me sum this up. We've got Evo, which is just a bunch of kids going to a convention
all right.
center.
Reddit's
You've
gonna
got,
blow you up for that
you've got TI, which is just like doesn't even have an audience for the first part of it,
But
and
the
it's in
main
Seattle
event is
every year.
crazy.
And then you've got BlizzCon, which is just like a glorified like video game convention essentially, and that's your guys' arguments against the greatest thing ever. Anyway, we're out of time.
Yeah, the timer's at 0.
Yeah,
Stop
exactly.
This whole
and
thing.
good it is because glad it is because we won. I won. That's League of Legends fans everywhere won. All right, next up we have Taylor. I don't know if you're going to be able to create anything as good as what I just did, but go for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I'm tilted and I'm tilted talking about League of Legends, I'm going to continue down that train.
Wow, you're just a hater today.
Yeah, I'm just going to hate on League of Legends.
Like
the
an
game.
episode of Summoning Insight.
Yes, exactly. Just people who love the game also talking about how much they hate it. But League of Legends has too many patches, and I think this is a problem for them in the fact that if you have a patch every 2 weeks like they do, there's no room to adapt. And I think other games do this a lot better. Like Dota has a patch every few months. StarCraft almost never patches. Street Fighter patches whenever they add a new adjective to their game. And I think those are much healthier ways for the game because it allows players to really figure out how to adapt to different strategies and styles. So do you guys think that this is going to be a problem going forward for League of Legends? Do you think that it is, or perhaps it's going to created so that the game doesn't get stale? Personally, I think it is too much of an issue. It's too many patches. They come too fast and too often.
You're wrong. So here's the thing about patches. They reinvigorate the game. They force the players to adapt. You end up in these really stale situations where you've got like these 2v1s where you aren't getting any action, and it's great that Riot can come in and immediately solve it.
That was the case for a full year. The 2v1s were a case for a full year, and then they changed it.
Yeah, they should have patched even more, maybe.
They should have patched it. They should have released one huge patch.
I will agree with you
months.
that the patch last year before Worlds was suboptimal.
That was not. God, we're going down that meme path again. No, they need to release bigger patches less frequently. Because that'll allow for people to really settle into what the meta actually is, rather than just picking something that they perceive to be OP right away.
Yeah.
And I think that's the case in a lot of games, that they figure out different counter strategies.
It's a little different. In Heroes, they do a big patch every 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes longer, but they have little hot fixes that come out nearly every week now. And it's something that they worked on and changed, because it used to be like that. It used to be every patch was a big patch. In Heroes specifically, like, a meta really does come to a head, and so you will see a lot of the same heroes, because I mean, there's not as many heroes as there is in League of Legends and Dota, and the heroes that are not good are very clearly not good and not picked. And so, for instance, like if there's a strategy like a split push strategy that is working really, really well, and it's like become what the game is, where it's like we're not fighting it all anymore, they will come in and hot fix it, or they will come in and make changes that they need to kind of like immediately there before a big tournament kind of. But the problem is that they release them sometimes at suboptimal points in esports timelines, where it'll come out right before a big tournament, right before BlizzCon, or they'll release a new hero that gets implemented at kind of the wrong time too.
Well, I mean, there's only like, what, 30 heroes to balance? I think that's what you said in
No,
Solo IQ last
55
week.
heroes.
I watched the episode.
I learned.
Yeah.
I thought you were on an airplane or in Hawaii or something.
Yeah, when I landed, I watched Solo IQ.
I didn't realize you watched any of ours.
He's got an upper viewer count.
I had to watch get me continue to be at the top.
Yeah, there was like a segment with you talking to Huhi with his dog.
All right, so anyway,
What's your favorite part?
What
right?
else? What else do you? Anything else?
I mean, I think that
fighting games.
Fighting games.
I
Fighting
think there's
games.
2 examples here, 2 good examples of fighting games and patches. You have NetherRealm, which is known for patching like Mortal Kombat X just continuously, and I think that actually drove competitive players away. They even patched the game. I want to say it was maybe a week before EVO last year. Terrible way to do this. Street Fighter V, Capcom's doing something, I guess, a little different. In the past, Taylor kind of mentioned it. It's because games were in arcades, they would always come out with updates in the arcades, and that's when you would see like the super versions or whatever come to consoles. But with Street Fighter V, they're doing some hot fixes when they see stuff that's like, yeah, we didn't really intend for that to be that way, or for this to work this way. But for the most part, the patches, there haven't been patches because they're kind of waiting through maybe the first year or so of the game to let people figure it out, get their feet under them with Street Fighter V before they really come in with like a wholesale balance patch. And my guess is they're probably not going to do a large balance patch in Street Fighter V until they maybe either introduce or release another character or an all-new character.
See, that makes sense to me for a lot of fighting games. But you guys want to know what has never been patched? Smash.
Whoa.
Melee has never been patched.
yeah.
And
It's kind of hard to do.
Well, it's
you know what happens every few years with Smash? A new character rises into the top tier. I mean, for a while there was Jigglypuff was not considered top tier at all. And guess what won EVO this year? A Jigglypuff.
Yeah,
Hooray!
yeah.
You know what was considered really high tier for a while was Ice Climbers. And then after a certain point, everyone's like, oh yeah, if we can't wobble, why would we play Ice Climbers?
I think the difference is that there's a lot more diversity of elements in something like a MOBA than in Smash.
I'd agree
You
with
have
that.
way more characters. There's like balance issues on the map and all that stuff. By the way, to your fighting game point, Michael, is the fact that there isn't a balance patch for a while in Street Fighter. Is that the reason why in EVO I saw everybody at the top seemed to be playing that dude that did the little blade thing over somebody's head? What's it called again?
Nash is the character.
Yeah, Nash. Yes.
what's the move?
No, I
called?
don't. I don't think that has an issue of balancing, like a patch balance. I think that's just an issue of that's a top tier character, and just like Chun-Li, if you need to play the top tier characters to win on the Pro Tour.
I mean, I feel like World of Warcraft. People love vanilla World of Warcraft, right?
All right.
Right? I mean, there's got to be.
We're going down a
There's a
dark path
patch
here.
in there. There's always everyone has like their favorite patch, right?
We have 15 seconds. You
All
can
right.
just talk about WoW all you want. I
No,
guess.
whatever. Just,
We'll
just take it
wrap
away, Travis.
Yeah.
I don't
All right.
even-
Well, it's time to move on, but before we do that, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if Dylan and Michael will be able to tilt everybody else as much as I've tilted them. Don't go away. Well, we are back again, and Dylan, it's time for you to share your topic. I am so excited about this. You are always the most enthusiastic, energetic person on this set, and it is time for you to shine. Bring it, baby.
It really helps when you do that. I want you to know that. So I'm tilted about some missed opportunities. I think that specifically I want to talk about in-house leagues. There's one for Counter-Strike, does really well, rank S, used to be FPL. Pretty much these players after scrims and after practice play together in these kind of more casual leagues, like late night. They'll stream it. It'll be all the best players playing each other. So it's like really high quality games, but Counter-Strike has rank S. Heroes has PPL. There's a bunch of different ones. Dota used to have FPL, but it's like the source of a lot of drama, kind of, in CSGO, North America specifically. But it's the best practice against the best players in like something that's not a tournament setting, and it's like still being productive rather than solo queue. And it brings the community together. You can see, it gives fans a chance to interact with their favorite personalities. I just want to know, like, there are games that don't have this. Call of Duty, Street Fighter V, League of Legends, like what could they stand to gain from something like an in-house league?
So you're talking about literally the pro players in these games practice against each other in these sort of in-houses?
Yeah, have you not seen the FPL? Rank S?
I have not.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like
It's
late night
cool.
on Twitch, you can see, Tarek and Nothing and anyone from all these top
There's-
teams play each other.
But the thing is, there's a lot of problems with this, right? Like, 'cause if the pro players are really focusing on only playing in these sort of pickup leagues and in these competitive pickup leagues, it's really difficult for the general public or like the up and coming players to get a lot of practice against these guys. Because like you said, you only get better if you play against the top players. But if you're looking to develop talent in a lot of in your region, you have to give up and coming players the opportunity to play against these guys. So the question is, how do you bring players into that league? How do you make sure that these players are able to join the league or these FPLs or rank S or whatever it may be? How do you make sure that you're still scouting these new players? You're still scouting these guys that can get to that may have the potential to get to the point where they can play at the highest level.
I mean, you get vouched in. You can also, I mean, there is a system in place to rotate new players in and new talent, and I mean, it's not terribly difficult, and it's not really the focus. Like scrims are the priority, tournaments are the priority. This just kind of gives something better and higher skill for you to play when you're not playing the normal game.
yeah, I
So
mean,
what's the reward for doing something like an in-house league?
So specifically, like the reward system it's like not a whole lot. You get a little bit of money if you place in the top on the points and stuff like that. But like the real incentive here is it's like better than queuing by yourself or better than queuing an ESEA pug or a SIBO pug. In Heroes of the Storm specifically, like games are really hard. I mean, you don't get much out of playing normal solo queue games. So when you play in PPL, it's like not a scrim, but way better practice than you would normally have.
I mean,
The reason I asked that is because, like in the FGC and I guess Smash, I mean, there's Invitational. Smash probably does it maybe, I don't know, better than the FGC in that they have sort of, I guess, in-house invitational type things. Smash Summit comes to mind where they invite 10 players, and I think they actually either have people vote for players or, maybe run little tournaments to see who gets into this invitational. But, I think Taylor's kind of hits it on the head too. It's like when you have the top players just playing the top players, I mean, that's cool and all, but I'm not sure what anyone else gets out of that. And as far as like, I mean, this isn't something that I think could, because in fighting games, you can just go play anyone. Hey, you want to jump online? Sure. I don't know. I guess there's a benefit in other esports maybe, but looking at it from the fighting game perspective, I just don't see how this works because at the end of the day, yeah, if you want to get better, you have to go out there and you have to play the top players. And if it's sort of an exclusive thing where you don't have the opportunity to do that, then it just doesn't seem rewarding to me.
Yeah, I mean, sure, that might be a little weird for Street Fighter. I'm speaking specifically for League of Legends, like one of the biggest games out there.
There was actually a bit of controversy earlier this year about this because when the dynamic queue came out for League of Legends, a lot of pro players were really unhappy with how that was run and how that was set up. So what they did instead is they sort of created their own solo queue. So a lot of the pro teams, specifically in NA, created their own solo queue. They only played against each other, and everyone was talking about how it really lowered the quality of solo queue games at the highest level. So you got a lot of, like one-trick ponies and, sort of gimmicky players in the challenger tier that weren't players that were, and the players that were sort of really practicing in order to try to get into a challenger team or an LCS team, they weren't getting as much practice against some of the meta champions. They were getting practice against some of the best players in their region. And so this became a really big problem in NA for a second there. I think it sort of calmed down a little bit.
Wait, so this did happen?
Hang on.
Sort
of, but not really. Listen, I've laid in wait here until the end to tell you this, to just bestow my information on you. All right. Solo queue is fantastic. It's hilarious. It's all these guys stream it. They scrim each other all day long. There's literally no reason to then go into this weird pseudo scrim thing that's happening in the evening. Riot's MMR stuff, probably some of the best ever. So you end up playing against top players regardless.
Who are you?
Yeah,
You end up playing against a lot of the top
Chilling it
players
up
regardless.
this
You
week,
end up
my
with
dude.
hilarious, amazing moments in solo queue that are streamed. There's just no reason for this in-house league at all. I don't understand why you would ever
When
need
you
this.
go to the LCS next time, ask Double Lift.
Well, I'm not going to until
whenever
next year.
you see one of these pros again, be
It
like,
seems-
how would you feel
I
about an in-house league?
So
Ask them.
I appreciate you defending League of Legends, but you should probably know when it's
I'm
happening.
not defending it. I'm just saying it doesn't have this piece that is in place in all these other games that does well, that the players appreciate.
Well, maybe those other games shouldn't have that. Did you think about that? All right, let's move on to Michael Martin, who is going to be talking about something that has to do with fighting games, probably. I don't know. Michael, what are you doing?
Speaking of not having something, just imagine for a moment all of your respective esports legends, they're gone. They never existed. So in fighting games, I feel like the esport would be vastly different if there were no Daigo or Justin Wong. I'm just not sure it would be as popular if something like Evo Moment 37, or the Daigo parry, if you will, never happened. It cemented the two players who were already sort of legends at the time, as legends in the scene, and it'd be like asking sort of what if Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, or Michael Jordan never played in the NBA? It's possible someone else could have picked up the torch, but these guys really helped mold and popularize their sports, their respective sport. So, and at one point, Daigo actually left fighting games, and I wonder how competitive Street Fighter 4 would have been different if he wasn't around to influence those young players at the time. So if there was no Daigo, no Justin Wong, how would fighting games be different? So my question to you then would be, what would your respective esports look like if the biggest or most influential stars never played the game, or maybe they played the game and just quit?
Well, I mean, every single esport has that defining moment, right? It has the moment that really elevated it from sort of this casual scene to becoming the esport that it is now. I mean, League of Legends, you have the Xpac backdoor. In Dota, you have the play. Obviously, Moment 37 in Street Fighter. I mean, every single one of these games has to have that.
Taylor, Hearthstone. What does Hearthstone have?
Cards.
It would be the semifinal from last year.
Sure. Yes. Why not?
Hearthstone's an esport?
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay. But no, yeah. Every single one of these games has that moment, and more often than not, the players that are involved in that moment are the ones that really define the early scene. So Daigo and Justin Wong, Xpac, you got Dendi. I mean, these are the guys that really create the face of the game, and if those moments didn't happen and these personalities didn't exist, I'm not sure where a lot of these games would be.
Taylor, would Heroes of the Storm's moment be when Dylan Walker got a job at Yahoo Esports?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Glad. Just
Yes.
wanted to establish that. Yeah, I mean, I agree that you need a
weird
lot
for
of
you
these
this week.
legends. I mean, the question is, would it suck if the esports legends didn't exist? It's hard for me to say, no, it wouldn't suck.
Yeah.
We need less legends. I would argue maybe we need leagues of legends. Either way, the point is...
You are getting paid for this.
I know.
today.
So much money. Either way, the point is, the point is,
sweet esports money.
the point is that, I mean, I think it's really true. And I mean, we've talked in the past, I think, about the disappearance of certain legends. I think, Michael, you brought that topic up at one point in time. I don't know when, maybe on this show. And I think it would be really rough if we didn't have a lot of these guys around, because they basically become the pillars of the games, and these moments become huge for them.
Yeah.
Well, who would follow these guys up? Because, like, as an example, in the NBA, we're always looking for the next Michael Jordan, and in fighting games, I think at some point we're going to be looking at who the next Justin Wong or who the next Daigo is, and I don't really see that, at least in the FGC. In Smash, there's the 5 gods, and maybe there's sort of this narrative starting up where now there's these quote-unquote god slayers that are kind of following up, and you can kind of see, I guess, the progression there. But in these other esports, like, if these legends weren't around, who would pick up the torch?
Yeah, I mean, I think God Slayers are my favorite esport player. I feel like those guys are the most entertaining narratives to watch.
Sure.
But I understand what you're saying. Like, Dindy, synonymous with Dota. Like, there's a lot of players that are like that, where it's like double lift League of Legends. There's a lot of that, but I like those personalities. I like the characters that are characters. I don't like the dominating, they're gonna show up and win every time. Like that.
You don't like Olaf?
I mean, it's cool to learn from. It's cool to watch and learn from, definitely. But
You have to have somebody to root against, though.
You
right?
have to have someone to root.
Exactly.
I like the underdog story pretty much, but I feel like in this scenario that someone would pick up the torch. I feel like there would always be someone in the place of like the top rung. But there are certain players that it just feels like their stretch was kind of unparalleled. Like, I think about Mewtwo King when he was like towards the top. He had such a crazy, vigorous practice. The way that he like came to be in the spot that he was in back then when he was winning all time. That is like specifically something that I think like that would be irreplaceable.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Faker is the League of Legends example, obviously. And what's fascinating is that like Faker became a legend and then has remained a legend for so long in the League of Legends space. And it's been really impressive to me that you just are able to have the central figure that everybody generally accepts as like the god of that game.
I mean, he's about to win his 3rd world championship.
I don't know if that's true, right?
I think he will.
Yeah, he could.
I think
Really?
he will. I'm going to say
You're
that because
predicting
I know
SKT.
it's going to upset you.
Yeah. By the way, I want to point out that every one of our topics this week were about legends. The first 3, League of Legends. You even brought up League of Legends, by the way. So funny, and then it's
That
Legends.
it doesn't have a in-house ladder.
Yeah. I can tell you guys one thing to think about. We would not have this show if it wasn't for a certain legend. Double Lift. I wouldn't be here hosting this. Who knows if Tilted would even exist?
This
Well,
is the most. What?
Thank you for that, Double Lift.
Yeah.
Are you saying that you're
Thanks, Double Lift.
you're our legendary esports moment for this show and this company as a whole?
What is the legendary Travis moment?
There's so many.
There's
See,
8 seconds.
Travis is replaceable.
I
We got a
can't.
guy like
I'll tell you, I can't talk about most of them because this is a PG-13 show.
No.
We'll just end there.
Okay,
Either way,
yeah, let's move on.
these discussions are always so interesting, except for when you guys are talking. But the point is, it is actually time for a little segment we call Solo IQ. For those of you that don't know, Solo IQ is a trivia mini game where we get asked questions about esports and then we try to answer them. To get these questions asked, we bring in a guy that I like to call Silverman. How's it going, Silver?
It's going well. That's a really weird name for me. Travis, much like how you either love Reese's Puffs or you're wrong, you either know the answers to these questions or you're wrong. It's Solo IQ time, guys. 3 questions, 3 answers, 3 big losers, and 1 medium-sized winner. We're going to find out who that is right now. I want you to grab your pens, grab your pads, start thinking. Now, interestingly, you guys were talking about legends for most of Tilted, and most of these questions are about legends because it's Esports History Week. I'm springing this topic on you very late. Let's start with question number the first. Let's see if you guys can get this one. Speaking of Evo Moment 37, Michael Mark, Daigo versus Justin Wong, Evo 2004, the parry heard around the world. We all have seen it a million times. But while Daigo won the most famous fight in esports history, he didn't win the Street Fighter III Third Strike tournament. Who did? You have 10 seconds.
Oh my god.
Literally,
I should
like,
know this.
if Michael doesn't know this one, I don't know how I'm
Yeah,
supposed
I
to.
don't know. I'm just.
You're gonna put an answer.
All right.
A lot of scribbling. It's only the most famous, maybe the most famous moment in esports history. You have to know the follow-up. Come on, Travis. Tell me you got this one.
Easiest question in my life. Marn.
That's good. That's a good one.
No, it's a nice shout out to Marn, but not anywhere. We're not even talking ballpark. Taylor?
I was gonna go with Jay Wong.
Well, that would be interesting if Jay Wong could somehow lose to Daigo and then win the tournament. So I don't know where that came
Dumpstered.
from. Dylan,
Clerical error.
get us back up there.
I wrote infiltration. I know he's the guy.
Infiltration? Okay, great player. He's the best player in the world right now. Was not the best player in the world in 2004. Let's find out. Michael, give us the answer here. You know it.
I feel like I'm gonna get roasted here. Was it Nuki?
No, God. Can't allow that. The answer, Michael Martin, please write this on your wall. Kenji KO. Do you know the last name? Obata? Obata.
Okay.
Come on.
He hasn't even heard of that guy. Listen to him.
It was only the biggest moment in esports history. You guys blew it. Let's move on to number two. Now, this one,
Nobody remembers who won.
this one you actually have a shot at because I'm going to give points to whoever comes closest if none of you nail it. Hopefully someone will nail it. As Travis has repeatedly pointed out, Worlds is about to start, which means we will once again get a glimpse at, as we all know, the greatest player in League of Legends history. I'm, of course, talking about Faker. Now, the legendary mid laner has been called the Michael Jordan of League. He's been called the Lionel Messi of League. These are incredible names to attach to a guy who is, well, how old is he, actually? That's my question. Hint, he is younger than me.
That's pretty much everyone, Ben.
Yeah.
All right, before I get to Travis, minus 2 points for Taylor for making fun of how old I am.
Nice. Bless her.
It's fine. It's
Travis,
fine. It's fine.
Dude,
I'll win
you got
anyway.
this one, buddy.
Ben, you look very handsome today. I've got 20.
Ding, ding, ding. We
Yeah.
have some points. Good job, my friend. 5 points
Travis
for you
on
for
the
that.
board.
Wait, only 5? Don't
Only
you get
5.
10 for getting these right?
Question.
This is
You're
an easy
Taylor,
question.
Harsh
Taylor, can you
mistress.
get yourself from -2
I
to
also
3?
got 20 because I
Look
did
at that,
math.
Good job. All right, Dylan, there's no way you got this. You went with 19. 20! Oh my God, 5 across the board so far. Mannequin Mike.
Uh-oh.
20. He was born on May 7, 1996.
Oh, okay.
He's
Okay.
cheating.
Cheating.
That was such a cheat. Listen, you technically got it right, but that was really weird that you put that down. So
Don't give him
I'm
full
I'm
points.
only going to give you 1 point.
Wait, take away
What?
points from him.
I'm
He's
gonna give
literally
him a-
cheating.
I know that was a cheat, but
Wait,
was a
is the
fast
managing
cheat.
editor, can you find him salary?
I'm going to
Can
edit
you
all of
post
his
a
pieces.
twit longer about it?
All right.
I'm going to edit all of his pieces so that he looks like an idiot. How about that?
You guys are
All right,
awful.
guys. The last question here. This one is for Dylan Walker, who desperately needs to get a question right in a category that he writes about on the site. He keeps getting them wrong. He blew Heroes of the Storm last week. Let's try this one. Counter-Strike, which has been around since Dylan was in diapers. But everything changed when Global Offensive came out back in 2012. I think by then you were out of diapers, Dylan. Here is the question. The very first CSGO major took place a year after that at DreamHack Winter 2013. Who won and who did they beat?
Oh, wow.
It's a
Is this
two-parter.
real?
This is real.
I think
Another hint, it's not Zygo or Justin Rose. Or Faker. You can cross out Faker, Travis. You're still writing. Okay, what'd you get?
All right. So I got Navi over Virtus Pro.
2 very cool teams and 2 very bad answers because that's just, that's 0 the whole way. Taylor?
NIP over Fnatic?
Wow, that is super close. I'm going to give you 2 points for getting the teams right, but no points because you got to flip them, my friend. Did Dylan flip them? Not again.
I wrote VP over Fnatic.
Not only, well, you got Fnatic right, but
Are
no.
you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I looked it up.
BP
So
must have won the next one.
we're going to give you 2 points for getting Fnatic in there, even though you totally blew it. And Michael Martin?
I think Goose won over Maverick.
That makes sense.
You didn't look this one up on the internet?
I like the Top Gun reference, so we're going to give you 1 more point there. No, guys, Fnatic beat Ninja in pajamas. So it's a good try. You guys were close. Taylor, very close.
I tried my best.
But I have got some incredibly crazy math to do now. We've got negative points here. We've got a lot of ones. This is a mess this week. So, Travis, take it away.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, we'll find out what the answer is to this right after this break. Well, we are back from break, during which, by the way, Dylan Walker was on his phone trying to confirm that Ben had gotten that right. I find that so funny. He couldn't even believe it.
By the way, the reason I got Nuki wrong is because he won in 2005.
That's great. Well, Ben, what do you have for us?
Well, I kind of want to dock Dylan for like second guessing me, but I'm not going to do that because poor Dylan really needed the points this week. Here's where we're at, guys. This week, a decent showing. Travis, 5 points. You are still losing, but you're scoring points. Dylan Walker got 7 points this week. That's the big winner. Taylor Cocke, 5 points. Michael Martin, 2 points. You can see the grand totals right now. Michael Martin still in the league, but for this, but for this week, Dylan, you did it, my friend. Yes. Go get a cheeseburger.
Finally. I feel like it is finally starting to accurately represent the amount of knowledge that I have over my peers here at Yahoo Esports.
Don't get crazy. You squeaked by. You squeaked by.
You didn't even know how many heroes there were at Heroes of the Storm. You can never brag about anything
random
ever.
questions like that.
Thank you once again, Ben. I really appreciate you coming in to embarrass all of us. And at the end of the show here, I just want to say, last week I missed it because I was in Maui. And while I was there, I was really upset about the fact that I was missing it. Now I come back. And I wish I was in Maui. This was terrible. Why did we do this? Either way, that's the show, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please send feedback. Love to hear your thoughts on Tilted and continue to make the show better. See you next week on Yahoo Esports Live.
Check out Yahoo Esports Live every Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific.